coming round to 5 o'clock. This is Radio 2. Time signal coming.
BBC News at 5 o'clock. This is Lisa Costello. A service of thanksgiving has been held for the late Queen in Edinburgh, where her coffin will rest for 24 hours. King Charles has promised to follow his mother's selfless duty in his first address to Parliament as monarch. And England's cricketers have sealed a 2-1 series win over South Africa. King Charles has led a procession along the Royal Mile in Edinburgh, walking behind his late mother's coffin. A service of thanksgiving was then held at St Giles Cathedral, where Queen Elizabeth's coffin will now lie at rest for 24 hours. Lorna Gordon reports from the Scottish capital.
A crowd of many thousands lined the route as the new king, his 3 siblings alongside, led the procession escorting the hearse carrying the Queen's coffin to St Giles Cathedral. It was draped with the royal standard in Scotland and dressed with a wreath of flowers, including dried white heather from Balmoral. A gun rang out every minute from Edinburgh Castle as the procession made its way slowly up the Royal Mile. The late monarch's coffin was carried into the cathedral by members of the Royal Regiment of Scotland. Her family and a congregation drawn from all areas of Scottish society then joined a service of thanksgiving marking the Queen's life.
A man accused of heckling Prince Andrew as the cortege made its way up the Royal Mile has been arrested for an alleged breach of the peace. Footage on social media appears to show the 22-year-old being dragged away as bystanders start chanting "God Save the King." Earlier, King Charles made his first address as monarch to MPs and peers in Parliament. In his speech, he said his late mother had promised to serve her country and her people, and he would do the same.
This vow she kept with unsurpassed devotion. She set an example of selfless duty, which, with God's help and your counsels, I am resolved faithfully to follow.
A minute's silence will be held at 8 p.m. on Sunday to mourn the late Queen. John Lewis, Primark, B&Q and Homebase are among a growing number of businesses which have said they'll close on Monday for her state funeral. Boris Johnson has spoken of his shock at hearing the news that Queen Elizabeth had died just 2 days after a meeting with her. The former Prime Minister travelled to Balmoral last Tuesday, hours before his successor, Liz Truss, made the same journey to ask for permission to form a new government. In a BBC interview focusing entirely on the late monarch, Mr Johnson said she was absolutely on it and was actively engaged in politics.
I just thought how incredible that her sense of duty had kept her going in the way that it had, and given how ill she obviously was, how amazing that she should be so bright and so focused. So it was a pretty emotional time.
In other news, people aged over 65 and pregnant women are being told not to eat smoked fish, including salmon. The Food Standards Agency says there's a rare chance of getting listeria food poisoning. Anyone with a weakened immune system is also being told to avoid the foods. Michelle Roberts has more details.
The precautionary advice follows an investigation by safety officials into a recent series of listeria food poisoning cases. There have been 14 in the last couple of years, with 8 reported in England and Scotland since January. Most people affected reported consuming ready-to-eat smoked fish. The Food Standards Agency says susceptible groups, meaning the over 65s, pregnant women and those with weak immune systems, should avoid eating it or cook the fish until it's steaming hot to kill any bacteria.
COVID infections in the UK have fallen to their lowest level since October last year. The latest official estimate suggests around 1 in 70 people had the virus in the last week of August. That compares with 1 in 15 6 weeks earlier. England's men's cricketers have finished the summer with a 9-wicket victory over South Africa in the final test. The home side took just 25 minutes to hit the 33 runs needed to take the series. England has seen a complete turnaround under its new captain, Ben Stokes. He said the triumph was a team effort.
It's quite hard not to be pleased when you finish off a summer of 7 tests and coming out on the right side in 6 of them. A lot of credit has got to go to everyone involved in English cricket this summer, from the players to the management to the backroom staff. You know, this is been a huge collective, responsibility put on everyone this summer, and everyone's dived into it.
In the city, the 100 share index closed up 122 points at 7,473. And the weather, there'll be patches of rain in northern parts of Scotland and England, but there will be clear skies elsewhere. Overnight lows of 9 Celsius in Edinburgh, 11 in Belfast, 15 in Cardiff and 17 in London. BBC News, it's 5 past 5.